This is for educational purposes only. I am not a broker, and if you are passionate about a certain strategy that you feel necessary, then by all means, contact a broker. As you can tell behind me, I have 6 screens. 6 screens that gives me a little more real estate as it relates to seeing the trading role as it relates to the visibility of understanding complex calculations. And from our training purposes, I'm going to show you how I number those screens. So in my top left-hand corner is monitor 1. The next to it, to its right, it's monitor 2. To the next part, it's monitor 3. And likewise, monitor 4, 5, and 6. And what I'm going to show you is a close-up of what each and every one of those look like as we analyze the market at large and determine which direction the market is headed. Because I think that's the technical analysis aspect of understanding trading. And you have 2 aspects that you can analyze stocks in. One is fundamentals, and the next one is what they call technical analysis. Now, I use a combination of the 2. So yes, I do look at the balance sheet. I do look at the profit and loss. I do look at the cash flows of publicly traded companies. But at the same token, sometimes after the evaluations of those numbers occur, I may have missed a move because I didn't see the direction occurring very fast. So and other times, I use technical analysis as well. So I use a combination of the 2 in my personal life, and I want to give you an example of what the technical analysis is today as to how I look at trading, getting in and out of positions. When you start out, as in according to DeVaughn Dames International Trading Podcast number 2, you may not have a broker. And for me, my broker, I have 2. So I would suggest anyone to check them out if you see the need. But TradeStation.com is one, CharlesSchwab.com is another. And I use both interchangeably, and I also use them in my strategy sessions for understanding how to hedge your position. So hedging is also a part of our long-term strategy that we give advice on how to protect your positions and also how to protect your profits. So before we get into it, continue to send in your questions as you are currently doing now, and it's going to be a wonderful experience as we go forth. As I said also in the second episode of our podcast, you actually have to be a little bit crazy in order to do this trading thing. It's not for the faint of heart, and it's not the easiest job in the world, but if you understand all the tools and the mechanisms in place. So today I'm only going to show you how I analyze. We're not going to go into risk management. We're not going to get into money management. We're not getting into stock selections. We're not getting into day trading activities. As a trader, my role, or the strategies that I prefer the best, are what's called swing trading, because it gives you a little bit more time to analyze and hold a position. And for me, anytime I have a profitable position, I simply put a trailing stop on that to lock in the profits. So without further ado, I'm going to take you to my stream capture moments, where we're going to locate some of the monitors and get a close-up view of what it takes to view the entirety of trading. Now, you may not have 6 screens available to you. You may just have 1 screen available to you. When I started out, I only started out with 1 screen. And then I branched out to 2, and then I branched out to 4, and eventually I found that 6 was a better visibility for me. You can utilize that same strategy for yourself, but don't feel as if you have to go out there and buy 6 screens or to get an elaborate setup like this one is. But this is what I call money rolling through the palm of your hands. And there again, remember that 10% of your total wealth is supposed to be in trading, 60% in real estate, and 30% in investing in other businesses. So we'll talk about those things a little bit more, but before we even get into the stake of understanding what money is and how you can allow it to work for you, we need to take you and break you back down to basics and understanding what are you looking at in order to gain the profitable measures to make your life a little bit more easier and a lot more profitable. Today is June 20th, 2016, and our purpose is to analyze the Dow Jones in the trading activities of the open and observe what the activities are like. So I want to show my audience, based on what we talked about, some of the trading tools that we use in both TradeStation and Charles Schwab. Presently, you're viewing the Charles Schwab window, or what is my window for looking at a watch list. And it's 9:26 right now, and the market is about to open in the next 4 minutes. So I wanted to show everybody what that looks like and what exciting moments the opened is for everybody. So based on our second podcast titled Trading, I wanted to show a visual expression to express the screens, as a beginner trader may not understand some of the concept mentioned, such as shorting and charting, utilizing tools like candlesticks, whilst we sort out some of the look and feel of the complexity of trading. So this visualization represents all of the calculations. We will definitely dive deeper into further videos as it relates to some of the other calculations. But for today, we'd just like to show what is a watch list. And we're looking at our watch list in Charles Schwab. To give you an idea of our watch list in TradeStation, I'll just highlight this one to bring it up a bit. So this is our watch list. And as you can see, we have symbols, the last trade, the open, the change from the previous day in both its number and percentage, the volume, average 1 month, and the description of that stock. We can get into all of these other details later. But this is Charles Schwab watch list, and I'll show everyone how to create these in later videos. The TradeStation watch list is similar, but I have a little bit more indicators on the watch list in that I can view about 40 different stocks at one given time. So we have symbols, net percentage change from close, we have the net percentage change from open, we have a net change from open, and we also have the same from close. Of course, we have the high lows, we have the RSIs, price channels, the average true range, we have a description, and we have a volume bar. We'll get into all of the other indicators later on. But I personally utilize all these tools in order to ascertain the direction or movement of a stock. So we'll start out with our order panels, and I'll show you what an order panel looks like for TradeStation. This is our auto bar. And the buttons that you notice here at the bottom are buy, sell, sell short, and buy to cover. Well, there are 4 buttons in TradeStation, but there are only 3 buttons in Charles Schwab's, and I'll show you how they work. So, for example, if we know what symbol we want, let's say we want to buy some target shares, TGT. We simply highlight target, we put in our quantity, and we express what order type, whether it be a limit order, a market order, a stop limit order, or a stop market order. Once we place these, I normally just leave it at market and change it accordingly, but once we place these orders in, we can then buy our position. The market just opened, so these numbers in here are going to fluctuate and change, and you're going to see all types of horses running. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So this is telling me, I don't want to go off course here, but this is telling me that there was huge money flowing into the market. Look at the price channels. All of that going yellow, 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 yellow. So those are telling me that today looks like money is coming in. So let me sort this by certain price channels. There we go. So I sorted by the highest price channels just on start. because all of these can switch at any given point in time. But for the most part, this will give us an idea of that horse-like racing track that I talked about. But going back to placing an order, let's say we wanted 500 shares of target. We simply add in our quantity, place our order type, and then hit the buy button. That's if we anticipate price increasing. However, if we anticipate price going down and we want to make money on the way down, we simply would hit the sell short button. So selling short is actually just one button away, and that's located right here. And once you execute those positions, if you hit the buy button, in order to get out of that position, you simply hit the sell button later on. Or if you hit the sell short button to close that position, you simply buy to cover, which is this button over here. So let's go back over to our watch list in Charles Schwab. Now we're back to our watch list. So these are some of the changes from the open. And we're going to take a look at the order window for Charles Schwab. So let's go back into here. And this is the order window for Charles Schwab. And later on, we'll get into what it takes in order to set them up. But let's say we look at our stock again, target. And for here, we see three actions: buy, sell, and short. So there again, just like TradeStation windows, if we hit the buy button, we then have the option to buy 100 shares of target using the venue smart. And the order type is trailing stop, stop limit, stop market, and a limit order. I just leave it onto market as my default. And you simply review your order, and then something should come up in here, but it's a little slow based on all the data feeds coming. And it will give you an option to place order, do not place, or see exit strategy. And since there's so much data coming in at this particular time, I guess it's giving us a little trouble in seeing the whole thing. But let me say do not place. Let me hit that button again. There you go. Now you see the whole thing. Buy 100 shares of target at market day on smart. It gives an estimate cost, gives an estimate commission, and then if I wanted to buy 100 shares, giving me a $6,856 purchase price, I simply hit place order, and that would place my order for target. So in this, since we're only doing an exercise, I'll take that off. But if we wanted to do a short, we can do the same thing. We can go to short, review order, and then it will give me some instructions as it relates, and I can place that order here as well. So if I believe that price is falling, then the short button would be my order of the day. So it's simply the reversal of buying low, selling high. And to close the buy position, I would simply go to sell that shares in the order. And to close out the short, I would simply purchase it back here in order to close out the positions. So those are both the watch lists for both Charles Schwab and TradeStation, as well as the order window for both Charles Schwab and TradeStation. So now let's take a look at analyzing the Dow Jones in both TradeStation and Charles Schwab. What we're looking at is an advanced technical analysis board from TradeStation. And you would notice that this one is a little bit more complex. But one of the reasons why I like this advance, because it gives me some cool indications here. Now, we know that the pre-market this morning at the open was up 234 percentage points for the Dow. So this window here, and I'll highlight this just to give you an example. I have 5 windows here, all showing the same things with a different timeline. Now you may say, I don't understand what a different timeline means. But let's take, for example, this window here. This window indicates the Dow Jones, and each bar is a daily movement. So if you look, and you can tell from February, from the first part of February, the Dow was at 1,600 points. And then at the beginning of April, it was at 1,760. It came down slightly, and then it went right up. Following in May, we had almost a downturn for a portion of May, and then it went all the way down by mid-May to about 17,400 points. And then somewhere between May 17th and the first week of June, it went all the way up to 1,800, where it was always in a decline for, I'd say, from about June 13th. It was in a decline downward all the way for until today's date, where we had a 200-point movement on the open. And this is also why it's very dangerous to trade the open on certain days. Because if you were in the wrong position, if you were shorting on a day like today, depending on what your stock is, you have the potential of getting crushed. And we will take a look, and that's why we analyze the Dow as a top-down indicator instead of just looking at our individual stock. Because based on this bar here, it gives a lot of movement. So for me, if I was in the market this morning, I'm looking for long opportunities, and I'll show you how I separated the long opportunities versus the short opportunities in my watch list. So going back to our windows now, each bar represents a day. Now the momentum, this is a momentum bar. So this tells me from the 20th of June, anything above the yellow line is a buying opportunity. And as it relates for today's activity in trading, it's clearly indicating that buying opportunity is prevalent. Anytime the green line goes below the yellow line on slope to a negative gradient, it's a shorting opportunity or a selling opportunity if you bought in early. But as we can tell today, we know today is going to be a huge day because the market in itself, and we can see this number right up here, is at 244.7, and it'll fluctuate, but on average about 245 points. So there's a huge money coming into the market this morning. And don't forget now, Britain's exit vote is on Thursday, and we're not sure as to what's going to happen there. So the unknown is unpredictable at this stage of the game. So in analyzing the Dow Jones for today, I would utilize these tools just to get an idea of which direction the market is headed. Now, there should be a retracement of the Dow Jones, and we can get into those retracements in a little bit, but I just want to give you an idea of how the market looks. And of course, this window is a minute-by-minute window in terms of its time frame. This is almost similar to a SARS indicator, which indicates high and lows, as you can tell from these numbers here. And we'll get into those calculations in later videos, but the bottom line between the SARS is as long as price is above the purple line, buying opportunity, and as long as price is below the blue line, selling or short opportunity. But as you can tell from today, everything is a buying opportunity because most of the numbers here are inclining at a rate upward and scaling upward very quickly. Same thing for our indicator here. It shows that as on the 17th, trading was in this range. Now trading first thing this morning, trading is in this range and climbing higher as we speak. So green, when we see green on the KG screen, we can tell that those are buying opportunities. And when we see red, we can tell that those are shorting opportunities. So all of this is movement going back from June 10th all the way to current time. and I really like the Renko in that I have a Boolean line and a Boolean range line. And each bar represents a movement of approximately 50 cents. So each bar, and I'll show you the settings of all of those as we go forward in our studies of trading, but you can set these to whatever you want it to be in TradeStation. And for us, I kind of just made mine 50 cents to make it easier for me. Some companies don't move quite as fast as the Dow Jones. And as we can tell, this is moving really nicely right up and now. But it's trending upward to the upside. But we would have known this is trending to the upside because of our movement here. So if the whole market is trending to the upside, why then look for shorting opportunities at this particular time? View the market outcome here as an opportunity to look for companies or positions that you can get into very small for buying opportunities and keeping your risk low. Now, we won't get into risk management during this session because we pretty much wanted to show you what the graph looks like. And for our next type of graph, I want to take you to the candlesticks for Charles Schwab. Candlesticks. Now, the candlesticks are a Japanese invention, and from what we can tell, you can tell that there are three graphs in front of you. Now, these graphs are called studies, and similar to the SARS indicator that we showed earlier in the TradeStation platform, in my Charles Schwab platform, I have a very similar indication here of SARS indicator. And I also have a Boolean line with a mid-range, and each chart, before I go any further, this particular chart represents 1 day of movement. So each bar here represents 1 day. Now the timeline is that the daily charting here is a daily representation, but the next chart, each bar represents a week. And it's marked here in my weekly calendar, so each bar is a week representation, which indicates trend. For the third chart, each bar in this indication represents a monthly momentum. So each bar in the monthly chart represents 1 month. So on today's activity, this 1 month's activity is not trading below where it opened at the beginning of the month. It's actually trading at higher than where it traded at the beginning of the month, as indicated in green. Now the green bars, the rules for them are going to be similar to all three charts in that the green, midway through where the green starts, it's its opening position. And going up is the ending position. So as we can tell on the monthly scale, green means money coming in, of course, which means that it started here at the beginning of the month and it's currently trading here, which is at 17,925. Now, suppose we saw a red indication on the month, and the red indication would have started here with anticipation of volume drop and ended here. So all of the red indicates a starting position and an ending position where price falls. All the greens, they start at the bottom and end at the top, showing its ending position. And all of them we can read the same way. So there again, on our daily activity, this is huge volume and huge momentum going in. Now, on the second study below, I have a rate of change, and I have a MACD-H, which is the blue line. I have a MACD straight line, which is in the red line. And I have a MACD-H, which is this histogram below. And all of these mean something. So when the blue line is below the red, that tells me that it's a shorting opportunity, which then from the 11th, I could have looked for shorting opportunities in this timeline. That was April. So as of April, going all the way to May 23rd was a shorting opportunity. And then once the intersection of this line increased, I could have looked for buying opportunities in this range here. And from the 13th to present time of June, all of those are shorting opportunities. It have yet to cross the lines here, but this is going to be a volatile week because there again, as I said, Britain doesn't know what it's going to do, and that's going to dictate the markets huge in a very impactful way. So I would be very cautious this week, but at the same token, I wouldn't want to overlook certain profits that can be made in just this week alone, as you define what type of trader you want to be. So this is what's called candlestick charting, and we can measure certain elements on here. We can draw some lines of support and resistance. And going back 60 days on my chart, I realized that a pattern has developed. So this would be the range that I would be looking at trading in over the next 60 days as well. So stocks can trade in a range for a long period of time until it makes a decision. And as change occur, you simply change your decision. And we can do that for all three of them. However, the studies below would simply indicate change. So my black line here, as long as my black line for some of the certain stocks, not all of them, as long as my black line is below both the MACD's straight line and an exponential reading, I can say those are shorting opportunities as well. And once it's above the line, because you notice the rate of change line will change faster than all of the MACD lines put together. And I like to take note of that change as well too. So now you see that the rate of change is above 0 and it's trading above both the lines. So there again, that would be considered buying opportunities. So we can actually map this to also a couple other stocks and see exactly which stocks to view that look like this to get an idea if we want to purchase them or not. So why not let's go to our watch list again in TradeStation and pick out a few stocks and see what those represent. TradeStation watch list. Now all the green is gone. All of the yellow, is gone. So sometimes this may be saturating out and waiting for a reversal opportunity because so much money came into the market. But, let's see. This thing can take off and continue on. But as of this moment, based on my price channel indicator, I can see that the morning open was very volatile, and now they're coming back into reality. So these companies here I would consider to be my weaker companies because they're not as strong in terms of price movement going up through the channel. And the ones that are in red have the potential to continue going up or have a reversal. But the ones in red, those are where the money is moving. And from this watch window, we can see that PKL, which is Packing Corp America, is trending up. So let's go and select PKT and view it both in TradeStation and Charles Schwab. Now this is PKG, Packing Corp of America. This is what the TradeStation platform looked like. And as we can tell, let's go back to our daily movement chart. We can tell based on the chart, changes already occur today. So this would be one of the stocks that I would not short as of today because change has already occurred. So change has occurred. I would love to be in a buying position of PKG for today. And this is how you make your forecast. This is how you make your money in trading. Now, I would simply put a very small position on PKG, which stands for Packing Corp of America. But even before I purchase, there are a couple of things that I'm going to look for. And let me see if we can find some of those things for you. So, and this is one of the reasons why I love using both TradeStation and Charles Schwab, because I like them differently, but I love them combined together. And In addition to that, I also use them as a hedging strategy as well too. So the hedging part, we'll get into that later. But let's go to Charles Schwab watch list and PKG, which is here. I like to look first before I even purchase a stock. The average volume is 993,000. And if I wanted to do a quick research on this company right now, I have a research tab up here. And if I'm a fundamental trader, I have the luxury of looking at all their numbers and also seeing a third-party opinion. Now, all of these I've constructed in terms of the tools that Charles Schwab gives us, and I'll show you how to customize these to your view at a later time. But from an opinion of third-party utilizing Market's Edge data analysis, they came up with the analysis that we should be a buyer of PKG, and this opinion was formed on the 11th of April. The 11th of April, when price was at $60.18. So currently today, price is at $67.15 right now, but I don't have to listen to this group at all. I could simply do my own thing and show you later on a strategy that will help in the downturns of this particular company when they occurred. So we can now see from the business summary, sometimes I don't really even care what company it is that I'm trading, as long as it meets the criteria of price and volume so that I can know that it's extremely liquid. But this company, PKG, Packing Corporation of America, is a product of container boards and congruent packaging products and uncoated free sheet. The company operates through 3 segments: packing, paper, and corporate, and other. The company operates over 8 mills and approximately 90 congruent products manufacturing plants. It operates primarily in the United States and has converting and distribution operation in Canada. The company's congruent product manufacturing plants produces a range of congruent packaging products, including conventional shipping containers used to protect and transport manufacturing goods, multicolored boxes and display. Its paper segment operates under, let's go to read more. Its shipping containers used to protect and transport manufacturing goods, multicolored boxes and display. Its paper segment operates under the trade name Boise Paper. The company manufactures and sells white paper, including both commodity and specialty paper. The company's corporate and other segment includes corporate support staff services, related assets and liabilities, and foreign exchange gains and losses. Well, wow, that says a mouthful about that company. But reading all of that, how does that help me make money in the industry? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. And as we go forward with our trading on just analyzing a stock, I, from my personal experience, would say PJK at this particular time would be considered a buying opportunity. Now, we can abandon the technicals and we can go also to their earning ratios. And for those of you who love the numbers, they have tons of numbers here for you, such as earnings per share, which is EPS on average, highs and lows. They have the sales on average, highs and lows. And they also have the quarterly earnings of the earning per share ratios. Now, if this isn't enough information for you on earnings, they also have the dividends info. They have the recent dividends and the percentage payouts. They have the most recent splits, and they have the growth metrics. And if we need further metrics, we can go here for the valuation metrics, such as PE ratios, forward PE, price to sales, price to book, price to tangible book, price to cash flows. We can go to its growth metrics, and there's a ton of growth metrics there for you. We can also go to the financial metrics. And if we need further information, we can go over to the financial strength, which shows current ratio, quick ratios, as well as the management effectiveness ratios and the margin ratios. So once we have all of those information and we put those in our calculator to calculate, we then can analyze a company based on all those metrics. So now let's go back over to the candlestick and see what the candlestick says. Now here on the daily, we know that volume is extremely high and that it's already trading $1.45 above its closing day, which was Friday. So it's at 2.21 percentage points, and this looks like a nice buy for today. So technically speaking, it's moving a little too slow for me, but in terms of analyzing on a day that the market is taking a huge influx of money in, this would not be a bad buy to buy in here at 100 shares moving forward. So now, as we can tell, let's go over to look at the full range of TradeStation. And this also tells me on the daily that money is coming in here. So every 50-cent movement shows an influx of money. I wouldn't get into a protective measure until I see red. So once I notice all of this red has been exhausted, consolidation has taken place, now I see a buying opportunity in this section. Going over to one of the SARS indicators, seeing that this also is indicating a buying opportunity. So I wouldn't be wrong to be in here for the long haul, and that's exactly how I would analyze a stock to purchase. It's trading at above its ranges, and it looks like a very beautiful momentum. So I would stay in this for a while, quite possibly until it gets to 71.18, where it looked like it might have some resistance. So somewhere between 69.73 and $71, I may exit my exit position if I'm ever to see a red indicator here on the daily. So this is wonderful to have, and hopefully this analysis helped you today, as it most certainly helped me. So to recap, we was able to see the watch list of both TradeStation, which is my monitor number 3. We were able to see the watch list for Charles Schwab, which is here. I mean, later on we'll get into high lows and see what these indicators are like and what the account details are like and what the breaking news was like if we need that sort of thing. But for the most part, I utilize this part of my Charles Schwab account as my watch list and just regulate the trades from here. So we got an opportunity to see what the candlesticks were like. And we know that this window here is the daily, this window is the weekly, and this window is the monthly. So on the daily, I haven't seen a reversal yet, but whenever the reversals occur, that's when your strategy needs to be kicked in for full gear. But I see this thing taken up and up and up and going right back to, I see the Dow going back to 18,000. And if we hit that today, great. If we hit that tomorrow, also great. But know that this week is going to be a volatile week, and I hope this session was helpful to you in your trading activities. And there again, continue to send in your questionnaires as it relates to trading. And I will see how best I can help you, or how my guests can help you as they go through the world of trading. So this is my personal trading setup. You can utilize it if you like. And if it doesn't work for you, now I know I have 6 screens. You may not be able to afford 6. But for those of you who hadn't seen my screen 1, I like to utilize a lot of real estate just so I can see what the market is doing and keep track of. So my monitor 1, I view about 8 8 companies, and it tells me exactly what those companies are doing at any given time of the day. So I can tell this company is CVS, and they're losing money today. When I see green in here, then I would know a reversal has occurred, and then I have a strategy for that. For DPZ, I can tell that money isn't climbing into them like crazy. And when I see red in here, I know a reversal would be in place. And likewise, for NSC. Now, I have no clue what that stands for, but we certainly can take a look at it. But I notice that money is going in. And all the companies you see in the watch list here, all of them have a specific requirement that I had placed in my watch list. So these are all safe companies for me to trade in terms of volume. And going back over these companies, NSC would probably be a nice company to trade on the long side today. Domino's Pizza, DPZ, would also be another company to trade on the long side. Juno, still in the land of the decision as they consolidate back and forth, so they're not sure. So, but as you can tell, they already just had a 20-cent move. So I would sit out on this one and wait for a while. Save had a great movement up today, so I would probably sit in this and wait for a reversal. And so these are the 8 companies that I can watch on my screen number 1. On my screen number 4, I have another 8 companies that I can watch. So this one is CAV, and I can tell that they were losing money in the previous trading period, and they just started to have a reversal. So this may be an opportunity for a long push. The companies that I like are pharmaceuticals, because they move real fast when they do. So Inchi, which is a pharmaceutical company, there's some consolidation here. They haven't decided on what they're going to do, but like everything else, it may be worth further analyzing. CRM, which is Salesforce.com, they look like they are just about consolidated and having a push to the upside. So that may also be a very good company to go on the long side. Swanks, which is also looks like it's consolidated and having a push to the upside. So all of these are companies I can analyze very quickly, and if I need further research, then I can go back to the watch list and see exactly where they are. And also at this current time, we can see more money coming into PKG. We can see money coming into Manpower. We can see money coming into American International Group. We can see money going into the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Dow Jones. So all are in yellow. And those are companies that when they hit yellow, that's a very good indication that price is moving to the upside and that volume is also increasing to the upside. Can these companies have a reversal? Sure they can. But at the same token, it's my job to simply see how best to make money the best way I can. So without further ado, I do hope this video helped you. And just constantly stay tuned for other tools that we want to present, utilizing both the tools within my Charles Schwab account and my TradeStation account. And we'll get into the nuts and bolts over time, because this is not a race for fast wealth. This is simply a marathon. As I said, most of my earnings come from other business adventures, and trading is just one exciting way of doing it, but it's my passion, and it's one of those things that I enjoy doing. Of course, I enjoy all the other aspects of business as well, but nothing quite tickles me more than trading. So this is DeVaughn Dames, and I do hope this helped you. And if it doesn't, please send me an email with a question that I can respond to you, and we will get started on working your questions so that everybody can be on the same page, whether you're a novice, intermediate trader, or even an expert. So thank you so much.